Says it's recording.
Hello, everybody. I am Carrol Earnhardt. I'm the chair of the mentoring committee. I hope you're having a good start to the school year. Some of you, Christopher Singleton has already been in school for over a week. Some people are starting, they started today. Some people start next week. So it's everybody's different, right? Which is, cool. But it's hard to schedule this boot camp because I don't know about you, but I don't like to do things in July except party. Okay, so we are going to start with just a little presentation. Richard Butler, any link that we have in this presentation, Richard Butler is going to share in the chat for you to access at a later time. So I'm going to share my screen, but I best get my little thing hooked up yet. Wait, hang on a second. All right. Oh my goodness. All right. Sorry, guys. Technology. Love it. My screen share has paused. Why? I'm so sorry. Oh, I think I know why. Because I'm using two screens. Maybe close that one off. Unhook that. We practiced the breakout rooms. We probably should have practiced this part. Okay. There we go. Can everybody see my screen? And it says NCMEA Mentoring Bootcamp. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Okay. So welcome to the NCMEA Mentoring Bootcamp. I am Carrol Earnhardt, the chair. Um, uh, some of these may be incorrect. And if you look at the mentoring committee on the NCMEA website, know that I have not updated that yet. I will get to that soon. But as of last year, Dawn Wilson was elementary mentoring chair. Middle school chorus chair was Andrew Revels, and orchestra mentoring chair was Jonathan Todd. That may be different. The reason Richard Butler and Matt Edwards and Carrol are in bold is because Matt and Richard have stepped up as recently retired music teachers, woohoo, to help make all of the pairings. So nobody has to make a pairing anymore except for Matt Edwards and Richard Butler. If you feel strongly about, man, I don't want Matt making pairings for orchestra, then you can step up and do that for Matt. I'm sure he would appreciate the help, and the same goes for Richard. So, but right now it's wonderful because they're retired and we can meet in the morning and get things done and over with, and they have more time to make those pairings, which takes a lot of time. On the panel tonight, and you will meet them when you go into your breakout room. These are wonderful, experienced teachers from all over the state of North Carolina. When you go into the breakout room, teachers, I want you to introduce yourself to the new teachers. Tell them where and what you teach, how long you have been teaching, and where you received your degree. You might meet a fellow alum in your breakout room tonight. So take care of that. And I think I have the questions down at the bottom too for you to make sure you do those. So we're going to start with a general session. I'm going to go over the mentoring program. We are not going to do the panelist interview. I should have taken that off. I'm so sorry. But that panelist interview is actually going to be done in the breakout rooms because that's the most important thing about tonight is to get you in the breakout rooms with people who have taught the same thing that you were teaching so you may learn from them. Okay. What I want to do, however, is tell you a little bit about the NCMEA mentoring program. Now, the mentoring program has changed in the past couple of years. It used to be that it was for brand new teachers, but now we have made it to where it's anybody that's taught 5 years or less, fewer than 5 years. And also, we are interested maybe in a band teacher who is now teaching chorus. They definitely, I don't know, we haven't decided can they participate in the mentoring program, but if they're a seasoned band teacher, they've taught 10 years, definitely some of the mentoring the aspects of this program can help them. So what are the benefits to you? Well, you have a relationship with an experienced teacher. There are resources available to you, and you will see a lot of those resources tonight. We cover the expenses for observations. So NCMEA covers mileage and hotel room if necessary for a mentor to visit a mentee's room or a day of school. A mentee can visit the mentor and watch them teach. We pay for their mileage and for a hotel room. Let me let you in on a little secret. Nobody uses those funds ever. There is money available and it's not being used. So I'm here to tell you, use it. Also, you get a letter to your principal, both the mentor and the mentee. I'm going to be a lot better about this year. I think I emailed them out and some were returned, but we want to get a letter to your principal. And the reason for that is to let the mentee's principal know that someone from outside of their district will be coming into their school, and that's okay. They are assigned that, and we would give them your name. And also, at the end of the school year, when you are evaluated, this principal letter is further proof that you are either going above and beyond as a mentor to help other teachers in the state, you are doing work for the state, or as a mentee that you are trying to become a better teacher by being a part of a program that is above and beyond what is offered in your district. So also a benefit is conference sessions. This year we have 3 sessions. One of them is super fun because you get a nice, hot, substantial breakfast sponsored by Yamaha from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. You don't need to pay for it. You're going to get to meet your mentor or your mentee face to face. Perhaps you've only seen them in Zoom. Meeting them in person is quite a different experience. So make sure if you come to conference that you attend that breakfast. And I think, talk to me, we'll talk later. If you're not coming to conference or maybe can't make the whole thing, I'll check with Susan and maybe you can come that morning to the Marriott in Winston-Salem to meet up with your mentor. We have 2 other sessions there on Monday. I think the first session is probably geared more to mentors. However, mentees, you can learn a lot from that because you will hopefully be a mentor one day. So the second session is results of a dissertation written by someone who just finished their PhD, and it's some pretty interesting items that he's going to share. During the conference, mentors, I don't know if you know this, you get reimbursed for one night of a hotel, $80. So if you are mentoring, you are a current mentor of someone, and of course, we can't match every mentor. We don't have enough mentees signed up, but we need a lot of mentors so that we can have something to pick from all over the state. But you do get $80 back, and you will fill out a form that I'm going to show you where it is in a minute. And Susan will send you a check for $80 to reimburse you. Mentors and mentees, you get $50 off your conference registration. Do not register through the NCMEA website. You use that link that Richard is going to put into the chat. So if you are currently assigned to a mentee or you are a mentee, $50 off your registration. And then finally, mentees. If this is your first year to conference, I encourage you to sign up for the Professional Development Conference Scholarship because as I talked to Susan Heiserman today, the executive director, as far as I know, every person that has applied for that has gotten it. Now, I'm not promising that this year, but that is a great program where you get free registration for conference and you get free nights in the hotel. So all you got to do is drive there. You have to be a member of NCMEA. So NCMEA. So make sure that that happens. All right. Then there is a discounted membership rate for first year members. You get a 50% discount. Now there's some certain rules to that. You must have been a collegiate NAFME member coming right out of college. However, Susan told me today that NAFME is working on changing that and making that more available to teachers with 3 to 5 years of experience. So be on the lookout for that. Unfortunately, it's not this year, but we are working on that. And the second bullet point is grants. Lisa Packer I'm going to put you on the stage. Can you speak about how many grants you have gotten and how much money you have been awarded from NCMEA through those grants?
It is a wonderful program, and every time there's money there, and I don't think people know about it, or either they just think, "Oh, somebody else is gonna get it," but do look that up. You can only receive that grant every 5 years and be awarded that grant, but I have received it in both elementary and middle school.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. If you have financial problems that uh, you are in a position where you cannot afford the membership fee or you cannot afford conference, I would like you to email me. We do not want to exclude anybody because of money. We, of course, have to have funds to pay for the facility and things that we do within NCMEA, but we certainly want you to experience the program and know the benefits for you and don't avoid that. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about discipline in the classroom, just some overall things that I wish that I had heard when I was a first year teacher. And the first couple of slides are all about being proactive. You know, in college, this is one thing they don't teach you. They talk about it, I guess, but you know, you're just thrown into the fire as a new teacher. And frankly, I'm just going to be honest with you. You learn from your students every single day. Even in my 30th year, I had discipline problems that I didn't know how to handle and brought principals into my classroom to help. But if you are proactive in some of these ways before school starts or even in the first couple of weeks, you're going to do a better job your first or second year than you would have without that. So think through all of these scenarios and solutions. These are some things that you might want to ask in the breakout room. How do you handle cell phones in the classroom? That is a big problem with keeping students' attention. What do you do if there's an argument or a fight in the room? And how do you handle that? And of course, that's sort of school based, but the teachers in your breakout room might have answers to that. Share expectations with students and parents as early as possible. And I would say if you're in your second week of school, it is not too late. Okay. You can say, I'm a brand new teacher. I went to this class. I learned so much. I'm going to change some things about what I told you last week. Okay. Don't wait until the third month, though, then you're in trouble. Save time, don't reinvent the wheel. There is a folder of resources that I'm going to share with you that are organized in band, orchestra, middle school chorus, all the sections where these teachers and teachers from last year have put resources. Use those resources. Students may act like they don't need structure, but they do. When you make a rule though, be consistent. Every single kid, no matter background, ethnicity, whatever, how smart they are, how active they are in your program, you have to be consistent with all students. Other ways that you can be proactive, sorry, is when you are planning. I'm sorry, be the biggest personality in the room. All right, don't let sometimes a child is in your room and they want to be the biggest personality. Yeah, you got to show that you're the one, right? Develop your teacher voice, protect your voice, use a microphone if you want to, but remember that whispering can sometimes be more effective than yelling, definitely more than yelling. Move toward the problem. This beautiful picture of this music teacher behind the piano with a microphone. The piano can often be a wall between you and the students. The music stand can often be a wall between you and the students. If you have a student with a behavior problem or maybe not giving you attention, don't stay behind that piano. It's almost as if you're protecting yourself from that student. Be brave, and you don't have to say anything, just walk into their space a little bit. Perfect the teacher stare. Barbara Gear was my high school chorus teacher, and she could make a hole in my forehead. So work on that because that works sometimes more than words do. Here's some other ways you can be proactive. Over plan. Now, I over plan and often get frustrated because I don't complete everything that I want to complete in a class. But there is always tomorrow. And you should label your things in the most important for that day and maybe not as important and the least important. keep the kids busy, redirect their energy. I would take my students out of the room. I would have them do some sectionals. I would have them practice in different locations, go sing in the stairwell. I had 90-minute classes. So halfway through the class, I might show a funny video. I love Saturday Night Live. They have great videos about the music classroom. I would show that. And sometimes the kids would laugh, but I enjoyed it. It reset my energy. So that's great. All right. Be a proactive advocate. When I was an NCMEA president, often I would hear from people, man, I wish I could go to Raleigh or to Washington, D.C. and advocate for music education like you are posting on your Facebook. That must be really cool and so powerful. I'm going to be honest with you. The best advocacy happens at the grassroots level, right? Build those relationships. Make yourself irreplaceable. Make people love you. Make sure everybody in the school building knows what you are doing for students. All right, make it all about the students. Get all those people, the resources at school, get all of them involved in your chorus program in some way. Go sing happy birthday to the guidance counselors so they put the kids in the right classes. Send them candy bars at the beginning of the school year so they'll change the schedule. If you give out food in your classroom for a party, make sure you give a full plate to the custodians. Don't burn your bridges with the coaches and the athletic director. Because if you have a concert on the night of a baseball game, guess who wins? Most likely. So be careful about that. Other teachers, involve them, and don't just invite your principal to a concert. Give him a job. Mr. So-and-so, I need you to welcome people to the concert. Really? Yes, this is great PR for you. This is positive energy you're going to get from these parents. Okay. I've had my principal dancing in a hula skirt on stage before, and he loved it. Not when I told him that he was going to do it, and I voluntold. I don't ask him to do it. I just tell him he's doing it. After you've been there for so long, you can do that. But just give them a job. And if you just invite them, they're not going to come to your concert unless they're just that kind of principal. Okay. All right, final reminders. Sign up to be a part of the mentoring program. Become an NCMEA member, sorry. Collegiate NAFME members, remember that 50% off when you join NAFME. The conference in November, register early, but use the correct link that I gave you. Susan says, Heiserman, our executive director, it's very difficult to reimburse you that $50. It takes some time. Go ahead and use that link and save that $50. Okay. Conference scholarship, apply for that. If you have any questions whatsoever, and you maybe have not been assigned a mentor, or you don't feel comfortable asking your mentor doesn't have the answers, feel free to email myself, Matthew, or Richard. We have the time. Well, we're retired, sort of. And we have a little bit more time than these active teachers who are very busy in their classrooms. All right, any questions about that so far? Okay. All right, so we are now going to go into breakout rooms, and I did send this list of topics or questions in case we don't have to answer all these breakout room facilitators. You don't have to answer all of these questions, but this can get the conversation started. Richard is now going to share in the chat the resource folder. And now what he's going to share you is a link so you can edit, but I am asking you new teachers. The only reason it's edit is so that all these experienced teachers can add resources. Please don't change the resources in these folders. Download a copy and make yourself a copy. Okay? All right. I do want to share one thing with you that Dr. Wagner gave to me. Dr. Wagner, are you there?
I am indeed here.
Okay. could you speak about the resource that I'm going to share with them in the chat? I'm just sharing the graph that you gave to me.
Oh, sure. As you start to think about the mentors that you're given, NCMEA has done a really great, oh, I don't have my camera on. NCMEA has done a really great job in providing you with a mentor who is specific to your area, which is often what we're missing when we first start out to teach. You may be the only music teacher in the building, and so this is a really important resource. But there are other resources around you, and you need to take a minute or two and think about the kinds of mentors that you're going to need. And that's what this graph is about. It's just about finding a mentor who can help you with balancing your life, your personal life. It might be a mentor who can help you in the building, navigating forms and that kind of thing. For me, it was the mathematics teacher that had the same prep period as I did my first year. She was a wonderful resource, very motherly, and helped me not only with navigating that particular environment, but also kind of filled in as a new friend, I think, in developing my community relationships. So you might have people who can give you really good feedback in the upper uh, left-hand corner there on the screen. People who can give you feedback on your performance. It might be another band director or a college band director, right? On your teaching. And then if you kind of go down a square for somebody who can keep you accountable, maybe that's something that you need. Somebody can help you be consistent with the kind of habits that you want to do. Maybe you want to think of mentors for professional development. So as you go around here, and I provided kind of a definition for each of these areas, so you can kind of go through. Maybe you want somebody who's going to be emotional support. I wouldn't suggest venting to somebody in the school system. Vent to somebody outside the school system who isn't gonna spill the beans when they're mad at you later on, right? You want to keep those professional relationships intact and positive. So sometimes when we're upset, we might say things and that we wouldn't want repeated later. And I think that's okay. You just got to know who those safe people are. So, not everybody that you think of and admire might be good mentors for you. So that's why we put together this little chart to kind of give you some ideas of who you might reach out to. You have more resources than you know.
Awesome. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that. Now, there may be some of you in the room who actually are not new teachers, but you are student teaching currently. I do want to tell you that the mentoring committee now has a program where we assign a retired music teacher to someone who is student teaching so that you can have that person outside of the school system to have those really emotional conversations with, or maybe to get another view on how you should handle something in the classroom that you want to see a more experienced music teacher, how they would handle it as opposed to your supervising teacher in your classroom. You are welcome to ask me about that link. I will give you that. Now we are going into Zoom rooms, and I am going to open the room, but I want to tell everyone that you are going to be recorded in the Zoom rooms. It should give you a warning that you're being recorded, and that I have to assign all of you to a Zoom room because the way I set it up, and I'm so sorry about that. So I might have to call out your name and you tell me where you are going. But those Zoom rooms will be recorded for you to watch later. I won't see you again. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and I hope you have a wonderful school year. Thank you, everybody. Kristen Thomas, where do you need to go?
I'm a middle school choir director.
Okay.
Really
James Hare.
High school, middle school choral.
Okay. Come on. Tony Burke. Ann Meeks. Ann, where do you want to go?
High school.
Thank you. Oh, high school, stay in this room. Sydney Wagner, where do you want to go? Band, right? Yeah. Amy Stovall, stay in this room. Josh Hager,
High school choir.
stay in this room. Caroline,
Elementary general music.
elementary. Brenda Bailey,
Elementary.
thank you. Lexi,
Elementary.
thank you. Jordan, what did you say? Stay in this room, Jordan? I can't remember. Yes. Josh Carter,
He left something in the chat. He's high school band.
high
right.
school band, thank you. Okay. Christopher Singleton,
Elementary, please.
elementary, thank you. Richard Butler stays in this room. Hayden Harpinger,
Elementary.
okay. And that is everybody. All right, so you are now in the high school meeting, and we have several high school teachers here. Would you introduce yourself, Jordan?
Hi, my name is Jordan White. This is my 6th year of teaching. My first 3 years were at UNCG Middle College and then Hickory Ridge High School, where I was the choir director there. Then I did a year and a half at Mid Hill Middle School and Honeytown Farms, and now I'm doing a year at Westerly Hills Academy.
Awesome. Amy?
Hi, I'm Amy Stovall. I am at Grays Creek High School. So this is my 21st year teaching. I did 1 year of 7th grade in Robeson County, and then 3 years of high school in Scotland County, and the rest of my time has been at Grays Creek. Yeah, so I'm here.
Where did you go to school, Amy?
Oh, I'm sorry. I finished my degree at UNC Pembroke.
Okay, and Jordan, did you say where you went to school?
I did not. I went to UNC Greensboro, double alum.
Okay, all right. Anne?
Hey, I actually just retired in June, 30 years of teaching. I went to school in upstate New York. So I went to SUNY Oswego and then got a master's degree at Lemoyne College. Then I taught elementary music in Syracuse City Schools and then moved down here in 2003. Taught elementary again for a while and then was teaching high school chorus for 14 years at Clayton High School.
Awesome, awesome. And Richard.
Yeah, I'm Richard Butler. I was the choir director.
I feel you, Richard. I feel you.
I still call him, it's
yes.
I'm Richard Butler. I taught choir at Jack Britt High School for 12 years. Before that, I was at Southview High School for 21 years. And then before that, I was at Fairmont Middle School, Lumberton High School, and Fairmont High School, all 3 schools every day for 2 years. I got my undergraduate at Methodist University in Fayetteville, and I got my master's in music education and choral at Florida State University. And I'm the mentoring and new teacher chairperson for the high school choral section.
Awesome, awesome. Josh?
Hey, so my name's Josh Wager. I'm going into my first year of teaching at T.C. Robertson High School in Asheville, and I study music education at Mars Hill, and I actually just recently got my master's at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas, and so big change and exciting first year.
cool. You're the new Elisa Baker, huh?
I am the new Elisa Baker, and that's scary saying that. So, yeah, totally no pressure has been put on my shoulders.
Now
But
the role of Elisa Baker is Josh.
you're right.
Yes.
Yeah. Luckily,
be-
she has not
you'll be
changed her
fine.
phone number. I've talked to her 3 times today. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tony?
Yeah.
Tony Burke, can you hear me? Okay, well, let's go on. So Josh, you saw the list of questions. I'm actually I didn't introduce myself. I taught high school for 25 years, and before that, middle school and elementary school. I retired, and now I'm at High Point University, and I have a community choir that I do. So, and I'm on the board for NCMEA and ACDA. So I am not retired, but I do get a nice check every month, so it's nice. And have you gotten your first check yet?
I did.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. That was a nice feeling, right?
I'm going to actually cut off my camera because I want you guys to handle this, right? And maybe Tony will join us later. But Josh, man, you got a lot of experience in the room, retired teachers and someone who's sort of new, closer to your age and experience level. So that's awesome. I'm going to cut my camera off and you guys go forth.
So we can do this a couple of ways. We could field a few of the questions that she kind of suggested in the meeting from all the experienced teachers in the room. Or Josh, you could just ask questions and we will do our best to answer them. But you kind of hit the jackpot. If you've got Elisa Baker on speed dial and you have all of us in the meeting, I mean, you're going to be well cared for in this break. And so I go to Elisa Baker for questions. So
I talked to her yesterday, so
yeah,
you're in
so
good company.
we're all good buddies. So yeah.
I know. I feel like I'm amongst royalty right now. This is exciting and overwhelming.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So.
Yeah. I would not mind going down the list of questions just to get started, just because I'm still in the middle of all my trainings and stuff, and so my brain is. I'm sure I have questions that will come up. So. Yeah, I actually classroom management is one thing that is burning on my mind just because my largest class right now is 62 for the advanced ensemble. And
right.
And I going into it, I felt a little confident, probably a little bit more confident than some people go into their first year teaching just because I student taught with Miss Baker. But all of those freshmen that I would have worked with graduated this past year, so they're all new to me.
Yeah, usually the first bit of advice I give to new teachers is the first, especially if you student taught with her, you know how things work. And the big thing is respect the traditions, whatever they are, do whatever the traditions are, at least the first year. And just, if you can live with it and get by with not changing it the first year, leave it alone and let it roll the first year and just try to do the things that she was doing. And make your little tweaks second year and start easing into it, because you used to go in wholesale and change everything. You are not going to be well liked at TC Robertson. And the only things that is like something you just can't live with. Like when I came over to Jack Britt, there was one thing I could not live with. And I had to get rid of it. And the show choir was really mad about it. We actually scaled it way down. They weren't happy with that, but they could deal with it. And the next year we got rid of it. And I won't share what that was. It was nothing inappropriate. It was just wasting a lot of class time every single week for almost an entire class period. Yeah, we've talked about this. And it was going to eat up an entire class period every Friday, and it had nothing to do with music making or anything. And I thought, this has got to go. I'll give you one lunch period. And they didn't like it, but they did it, so but leave it alone. If you can, if it's working, don't change it, and then make your changes later. That'd be one thing. And I've got other things, but I'll let everybody else talk about it.
Oh, I would say probably for me, the most recent change I've made, well, and that might be the biggest thing. Don't be afraid to change. Like I'm in year 21 and I change stuff every single year because I'm constantly going, okay, I need to do this better. So don't be afraid to change your own stuff as you grow, because you will grow. But besides cell phones, which we can talk about in a minute, for me, it's how I pace the 90 minutes. 90 minutes is hard. It's hard for kids, but it's also hard for me. You know, they all have ADD. I do too, bad, you know, so I get it. And it's hard. So how you structure your 90 minutes matters. How you move around the classroom matters. But also, I think the more you sing, the better. The more they're singing, the more they're singing, the better. But when you do stop, you know, you give them an instruction, they sing, and then you stop. I try to keep what I have to say like less than 10 seconds. And I try to make sure that I only say something that is directed to the instruction that I gave them. So if I ask them like, hey, we need to, you know, elongate whatever, blah, 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 then when I stop, that's what my feedback is going to be about, you know, and then I'm going to give them the next instruction and then we're going to sing again. So rather than give them multiple things to think about, I'm going to try to make it like a one thing, you know, because if you give them more than one thing, they're like, you know, they're done, they're gone, you know. And if you talk for more than 10 seconds, they're gone, you know, and you've allowed them time to do this, and you're going to lose some of them, and then it just becomes chaos. So when you have the big class in particular, even the really good kids who are just kind of really, really quietly talking, when there's 62 of them, that becomes overwhelming, especially if you're like me, where I can't handle the noise and stuff. I can't handle it. So I have to keep it to like nothing. So it's pacing and just making sure that my feedback is short, sweet, and it's very directed to what I asked them to do.
Thank you.
Anybody else have something about? I have one more thing I was going to add. Unless somebody else has something they wanted to say about it, Ann or Jordan, about classroom. Okay. Another thing is like, and Amy and I work a lot together, so she knows this about me. I'm super, super structured. Like when they come in the room, they know exactly where their seat on the first day. I have a seating chart. All my chairs are numbered. I take when I had regular old classroom chairs in my room, I would just take a black magic marker and I would write the numbers on the chairs, and that you can get them to their seats very quickly. My room is very awkward, and there's not a good place on the risers for them to keep their personal belongings. So if they're in seat number 1, they had a spot in the room that was labeled for seat number 1 where they could put their stuff. And they knew that. And then when we had the phone caddy, which Amy alluded to earlier, I had like the actual case that you open up and have the slots in it and you can lock it. If they're in seat number 1, their phone goes in slot number 1 and their stuff goes to place number 1, and their folder is folder number 1. I use binders. People do different things about organizing music. I use binders, and I'm not bashful about punching holes in that music and putting it in the binders. And so there's a binder that sits in chair number 1 all day long, and all 3 classes use that binder, and it has all their music in it. And it's super easy for the kids to reorganize the room for you, so you don't have to do it. I just get the room straight, guys, and they know binder 1 goes on chair 1, binder 3 goes on chair 3. One of my biggest screw ups for years is I would the chairs were numbered, but I only had binders in every other chair, but I numbered the binders consecutively. So binder 1 in chair 1, binder 2 in chair 3, binder 3 in chair 5. So just line them up, skip the numbers and make them line up with the numbers on your chairs. And the more structure you have like that, the better off they're going to be, and have a procedure for how they're going to go to the bathroom, and a procedure for, and teach it to them. Harry Wong's The First Days of School is a great book to read.
Yes.
Because it talks about teaching the procedures, so they know exactly how to do everything. And I'm very structured at the start of class. It's like take roll, stretches, vocal warm-ups, solfege, ear training, takadimi, and then into repertoire. And it's pretty much the same thing every day, so they know what to expect every day. And I've done slideshows because I would try to remember all this stuff. And I thought, you idiot, make a slideshow. I have a slideshow for homeroom so that I can cover all the things that they want me to cover and I'm not just trying to remember it, you know? And so the more you can keep it structured and the less downtime you have, like Amy said, the better.
Yeah.
And they're still going to talk.
Hi guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I've sent Christina Moore 2 messages in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she's looking at the chat. Christina, what breakout room do you need to be in? What are you teaching right now? Okay. All right, go ahead, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Not a problem. So, Josh, what's the next question?
Oh, that was well, first I want to say thank you so much, all of y'all, for all that information. I don't think I could take notes quick enough. That was
sorry.
Yeah. No, don't be
Being
sorry
recorded,
at all.
so you can go back.
I know
It's
exactly,
recorded.
right? I mean,
Right.
it's
Just
so
review.
much really good information. What was that book that you said, Harry Wong, First Day of School?
It's called The First Days of School, and it's not a book that is specifically music.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of this stuff, they talk about just learning the procedure. Teach the kids how you want them to behave. Teach that. And sometimes that's more important than the content, because once they know how to do that, then you'll get to the content.
Right.
But if they don't know how to act, you're never going to get to the content. You know, you're just going to struggle with all of these things. So I think on all through, we go through all the drills, like the fire drills and all of that. We practice everything. They you know, and redundancy is not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Say it over and over and over again, because you could say it 100 times and some kid's going to say, but when do we have a concert on Thursday?
Yeah.
How do we dress?
It's on your syllabus and your remind and your website. It doesn't matter. They're still going to ask
Yeah,
it.
they will. Every day for a month, and still some child is not going to have any idea that there was a concert on Thursday, or how to dress, or be there, or where it is, or what songs we're singing, or
very true.
Pretty much any detail you can think of, somebody's not going to know the answer.
That's sad that we're all like in the same, like it's universal.
Yeah,
it's all the way across the board, for sure.
Even at TC Robinson, which is an awesome chorus program.
Yeah. And those first 10 days, kids are coming in and out of your classroom too, because schedules get changed a lot and that kind of thing. So going over those procedures and what you're to expect, and not really diving into your curriculum, because you're going to have kids coming in and they might be 5 days behind if you start some curriculum.
Right.
So don't be like, oh my gosh, I haven't started any curriculum with them yet. It'll be okay. You're going to get to it. You have plenty of time. But these kids, I know that happened a lot at our school, that these, like even on day 10, it was the same thing. And I'm sure some of y'all that have been teaching for a while, it's the same thing. You're like, and those will be the same kids that will say, when's the concert? And where's the syllabus? It's on the front board, you know.
That used to derail me a lot, because I'd have everything set up, and then a new kid walks in the room.
Yes.
So you have to plan for that. So like I started putting, like in my beginning choir where I don't know who the kids are, I don't know what their voice part is.
Right.
I put all the boys on the front row and leave like 3 empty chairs.
Right.
And then I line up all the girls and I leave 3 or 4 empty chairs at the end of every row, because those kids are going to come in. I don't try to alphabetize them. I just put them on the end, right place. They're sitting with other girls or boys, and just go with it, because it's going to be a revolving door for a while.
It is.
At least the first 5 days. You're going to have kids.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're just rolling on day 5. They haven't even had the meeting to get their classes until day 5, because they're
true
and stuff. So
it's true.
Because I was gonna say, like, if your school, Joshua, has like a leadership council, because when I first started teaching my high schoolers, we already had a leadership council. I had a president, and you know, they really kind of going what Butler said earlier about not trying to change too much. They really already had the system in place, and so I just observed and I watched and see how they came in. And then, you know, gave the leadership team, you know, the president, secretary, section leaders, my small critiques about what they can do a little bit differently so they can have more time to make music.
It's a really good idea. Yeah.
Yes, actually, and that is one thing that I did really, really like about, and I kind of want to try to establish in the other classes too, is that leadership team, because she definitely had like a choir president that would get them started on the warm-ups and stuff, but she left all those auditions and stuff to me to start at the beginning of the school year too, which I do appreciate too. So I'll have to get on that with, and the section leaders as well. And the mentioning like the first 10 days and stuff kind of being chaos and all that actually reminded me of one thing that it's one of those questions that I feel like the answer is, oh, well, you just need to write everything down, but just pacing throughout the first semester, especially with honors choir, and our all county is actually going to be just a couple weeks away from honors choir, and we have a possible concert in October and our winter concert in December and all of the things. And just kind of, I guess, how do y'all just kind of go about that pacing, but also making sure that everything still stays very instructional focus and it doesn't just get to deadline.
Well, you're always, I hate to say this, but you're always, at least I always kind of feel like deadline.
Yeah.
It's my job to keep her on track. That's apparently.
Yes, that's so true, because he's always texting me, did you turn this in? You know, you have to fill this form out before X day. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do. He's going to have
still have all the dates on my calendar, so you're going to get text messages.
Good, because I'm not, you know, I'm good at some things, and that's just not the thing, right? For me, the first semester in particular is difficult because you're right. Honors chorus auditions come right there at the end of September.
Right.
And so it's your first year, you might not be able to do this, but Elisa might have started this for you. So I always am grabbing or trying to grab those kids who I think might be more likely to audition. I'm grabbing them in the spring. So as soon as the piece comes out, like May 1st or something, you know, I'm giving them all of the resources that go out as soon as possible. And I'm, you know, encouraging them to, hey, you know, if you want to do this in September, you've got to use the summer to prep, use the summer to be sight reading, you know, every day, you know, so try to lay some groundwork in the spring, which you can do, you know, this coming spring. And, you know, so for that, you just kind of have to get a head start. I think that's the best way.
It kind of depends too, because whatever Amy just said, I do it on steroids. Like usually at the end of the school year, I mean, my thinking is if I've got to go in, we use Travel Tracker for our field trips. So my thinking is if I have to sit down and do this form, why don't I sit down and do all the forms and just do all the field trips? It always baffles me, the teachers that wait until a couple of weeks before this and then they fill in the form right before the deadline. If I were going to be back in the classroom this year, I would have already filled out all my field trip forms last May, like during the teacher work days at the end of the year. I go ahead and do the field trip form for honors chorus auditions. I do the field trip form for the honors chorus event, even though I don't know if any kids are going to make it or not. I'd rather have it approved and then have to cancel than have to scramble around and do it while I'm trying to teach.
Sure.
And then I do East Regional, all county chorus auditions, all county chorus and MPA, our tour, because Amy and I tour a lot together. And we usually go, so like a couple of years ago, we went to Disney World. So we were sitting down in May at the end of the school year, the year before, filling out those forms together so that we could get it approved and start that whole process. So things like that, where it's, you know, where you have to sit at the computer and do this one task, but you know you're going to have to do it 5 or 6 times. Go ahead and set aside the time for a couple of hours and just do all of it. And then you don't have to think about it. In January, when East Regional's rolling around, you know you got it approved back in September. And the other thing is the thing that is hitting us with going on these trips is doing a reason. I don't know if they do the same thing in the county. Or do y'all do a form like that, Anne?
What was
it's like how you document your absence as a teacher, so they know what kind of leave they're going to charge you.
Yeah. Yes, I had a separate form for that as well too. Yes, which was
We have very specific deadlines in Cumberland County for if it's a thing that's in the county and it's just a day trip, you can turn it in up to 10 days out. If it's an overnight trip, it's 20 days out. And if it's several nights, and there are all these deadlines for that. And I
Mhm.
would just gather all those forms and I would do all of them at one time and it was done.
Because we did have a teacher last year who, not a high school teacher, but I think it was middle school, who she was a new teacher, and I mean, it was understandable, did not get the reason for it in on time, and we're talking like a day, okay? And basically there are 20 kids who were going to audition, were not allowed to get on the bus and go audition. I mean, and they didn't know that until the day of the audition or the night before.
The form was turned in before the trip, but it wasn't by the deadline. And
so just know your county, figure out what your county's policies are, because we're all different, you know. And if they're as, I'm going to say, anal as our county is, you know, just know it, you know. I mean, it's true, and that's fine, but you just have to know it going in and make yourself a little calendar if you need to, but especially for anything that's overnight in particular.
Super early.
Yes.
Do them early.
I would also say get in touch with your like performing arts specialist in your county, because they are a great resource and they know a lot of that red tape that you may not see.
And Elisa's going to know all that stuff, and she's going to know who the bus drivers are to get. Go ahead and book them even before the trip is approved, and they know she's going to know who the good substitutes are, and go ahead and book them. Even if it's not official yet, get them on your calendar and say, hold this date for me before it's even approved. Just do it all so it can just fall into place when the time comes instead of being in a mad panic. Because we've all been there where it's like the day before the trip and we still don't have a sub and we get some schmuck that doesn't know anything about it, can barely, you know, and just comes in and sits there and reads a book the whole time while the kids burn your room down, you know, so
sleep.
Because there are subs like that. They are a
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And one of I usually tell my kids, like went on a trip to Italy last fall for 5 days, and it was at the perfect time, like 3 weeks into the school year, perfect time to be gone. And so what I did, we got the sub line.
Good planning.
It was a wedding, so I really couldn't do.
Sure.
Couldn't ask them to move the wedding.
It's great.
But I did all the fields, all the stuff was online. I shared it with the sub. We talked multiple times about it. And I shared all of that with the kids on Canvas, and I emailed it to them. And I said, if they, you know, wheel a mannequin in here and say, this is your sub, you still have to get all this work done.
Sure. Not
off the hook. So I really put it on the kids. Get it done because of the good sub or in spite of the bad sub. You still have to do the work.
And I would say we're doing a lot. I mean, we're talking a lot about like the logistics, the behind the scenes stuff, which is unfortunately what you don't really get trained on in college. You know, but really, you know, the day to day, the 90 minutes, 3 times a day is what's really hard to pace, especially in that first semester. So I think my biggest thing would be just to, you know what your big goals are. Are you going to do an October concert, or are you going to do it just a December, you know, and whatever that is, try to set just like big goals and know where you're going. But I would say also to like, I know we want to set procedures and everything early, but I also think that like day one is the most important day, but especially for a new teacher where they're just getting to know you. And I would sing as much as possible, and I would let them see as much of you as a musician and a music educator as you possibly can, because the syllabus can wait until day 2 even. I think the more they're singing, because that's why they're in the class to sing, you know. And so I would just encourage you not to stress too much about the curriculum and whatever. You can do all the things. They can sing. You can be teaching technique and stuff. They don't need to know that you're teaching it, you know. I think you should just sing as much as possible. Not high stakes stuff, you know, just to let them get to know you as a musician and a teacher.
And that's where like doing the slideshow thing, because I was always horrible. I didn't do quite what Amy did, but I used to just all rules the first day. And so the kids are bored to tears. And so I started trying to do, okay, we're going to do this little tiny piece about the rules, and then we're going to sing something and we're going to do something. But my problem was between first period, second period, third period, I couldn't remember where I was on the syllabus for each day. So that's when I started doing the slideshows. And I would go down into the notes, wherever I got to, I'd go down into the notes, the presentation notes at the bottom of the slide, and I would write first period stopped here and the date, or just something to help me remember what the heck I said. Because when you've said it 3 times and you're in different places in the syllabus in 3 different classes, you don't know what you've told them after a week, so.
For sure.
Thank you so much. There's 2 of these. I took a screenshot of the questions when they popped up, so I'm staring at them. Okay. I'll ask this one, and then I'll ask the next one that I really, really like. What are some of y'all's fundraisers that you really like to do?
The fundraiser I love to do is Krispy Kreme. That is just my go-to. And Chick-fil-A. Those are like my go-to because I am a big Krispy Kreme and Chick-fil-A eater. And all of my kids know that. So when it's Teacher Appreciation Week or my birthday, they just never give me Chick-fil-A or Krispy Kreme gift cards. And so a great way I like to just I do the Chick-fil-A and Krispy Kreme fundraisers. Those are like my 2 biggest things to do.
I thought you were going to say, like, on Teacher Appreciation Week, you get like 15 dozen donuts that week or something.
No, I've never gotten 15 dozen.
I just thought, they were just going to show up with truckloads of donuts just for you.
Is Chick-fil-A, do you do like the spirit night, or is there a different type of fundraiser there?
So it's the spirit night.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they raise spend whatever, and then like a percentage of the proceeds comes to the Booster Club.
And those are nice because they're like one day a month or whatever you get from them, and it's really low stress. You don't have to work real hard. Those are fun.
So my 2 fundraisers, well, one thing that's kind of a sneaky fundraiser, it's not really a fundraiser and it doesn't get you a whole lot of money, but if you do choir t-shirts, like the choir t-shirts, my kids have to have them, or my friends have to have them to sing national anthems at athletic events. So they have to buy one, but the shirt costs like $7.50. That's what it cost me, but I sell it to them for $10. And you don't have to even count that as a fundraiser. That's just assumed to be part of it.
You better be glad you retired.
Yep.
Because that's not the case anymore in Cumberland County.
Are they
clamping
down?
Check with your bookkeeper.
I did.
I got snacked for it last year.
I checked with my bookkeeper before I started doing it. I said, should we make this a fundraiser? Should we sell it? And she said, no, just charge the 10 and you have to do the screening fee. And
Hey guys, I hate to interrupt. Can someone get me back to middle school chorus? My computer died. That's how I got kicked off. I was at middle choral. No, you're fine.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
So that may have changed, but I got away with it for a long time anyway.
Bookkeeper doesn't let us get away with anything.
Money. I mean, you might get $50. That's a piece of music, And we do a snap raise, which raises that was a crazy amount of money and all you're doing is promoting it and getting kids to share the link to donate with all their friends and family. And we made, $7,000 or $8,000 just from, and I see that is they can email it to their friends that live in Germany and their friends that live in Alaska and their friends that live wherever. And you get a bunch of people donating $20, $30, $40. We have one set of neighbors of one of our kids that got real competitive about it. And they were like, well, I donated 50. Well, I'll donate 75. Well, I'm going to come back and donate another. And it just became like this competition. Now that was in an affluent community there. So the other one I do is the a mattress sale fundraiser. That sounds like the weirdest thing ever, but it makes $3,000 or $4,000. And all you really have to do is have a place to host the event. And you do a heck of a lot of work publicizing it on Facebook and putting out signs and letting everybody know that it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But we've made $3,000 to $5,000 every year off of that, and you don't do anything. You're there all day, but they set up the showroom in your gym or your whatever cafeteria. They talk with the people, they sell it to the people, they take the money, they do everything. You just show up, and then they give you a check when it's over with. And
yeah.
So it is a lot of, now that I think about it, it's a lot of your time, because you really are putting out a lot of signs and emailing a lot of stuff and putting it on Facebook every week and sending it to all your distribution lists and just putting it everywhere you possibly can. But the kids get kickbacks. Like there's a forum, and if with their name on it, and if somebody walks in and buys a mattress with their name and they get credit for it, they get like $25 for the first one and $50 for the second one and $100. I mean, and it was a lot of money. I had a couple of kids make $350 that was their money.
Wow.
We still made $5,000 or $6,000. So
I want to do that.
We're all going to start selling mattresses.
Yeah, our band does that, and the thing is that depending on the bands are always like fundraising on a regular basis. It seems like bands got like almost like a monthly fundraiser kind of going on, and you certainly want to check and see what they're also doing, having that conversation, so you're both not. Perhaps if you have a product or something like those, chocolate bars or whatever it is, that you're not competing against that. And also that you're not competing and doing some of these things at the same time, so you can help support each other. I know groups sell mums. We didn't do that. Again, like our band kind of did that. We did a lot of the restaurant local, like Culver's, Zaxby's, those like school nights. And sometimes some of those places let the kids perform. So our situation, we have a lot of crossover with kids that are in the theater program and chorus program. And so if we had a show coming up, we were showcasing that. Or if there was something coming up chorus wise, I'd have like honors kids or whatever, they would do a couple numbers there, just depending on the restaurant. But some are usually, our local Zaxby's, I think, gave us 25 or 30% back. It was kind of surprising. We had a really good candle company. They had, unfortunately, COVID put them under, but gosh, we got 35 to 40 back from that. I mean, we had done that like around the holiday time. It seems when you do a fundraiser that's kind of going to tie into, if they get the stuff around holiday time, that seemed to be a really good time to do something like that. You might find a parent actually that maybe works for one of these companies or something like that, and they've got a fundraising branch that they could, if you've got a booster club, they can kind of spearhead that for you a little bit.
And another thing you can check into, I never did it, but it varies school to school, but like our like athletic boosters club that runs all the concession stands at all the events, they would sometimes, for the events that maybe weren't quite as well, the ones where they have all their people there at football on Friday night.
Right, sure.
So what they would do is they'd let your club or organization would work the concession stand for whatever night, and then you got a small percent. It wasn't a lot, but you got some money, and from the sales for that night. So it's a way to kind of profit share a little bit,
Yes.
But that just depends on if your school does that kind of thing. Jack Britt has done it off and on. So
I'm going to go back to so I've done snap raise like Richard, and we did really well. We made about the same, I think $7,000 or $8,000. But in the past few years, what we've done kind of similar to snap raise, but without the company, is just a calendar fundraiser. So we pick a month that has 31 days in it. We usually do October, and we do a sponsor a singer fundraiser. And so the kids I literally just print a cute little calendar with 31 days on it, and it says sponsor a singer. And so they take it out around to whoever, or honestly what happens is their parents post it on their social media so that anybody in the country, no matter where their family lives, can participate. And so I might sponsor a singer for October 5th, which means I'm going to Venmo their mama $5. And then my next door neighbor might sponsor that same kid for October 16th. So they're going to donate $16 and so on. So if the kid is able to get every single day sponsored, it's like $496, I think. And the difference between that and SnapRaise is it's pure profit. It's 100% profit. The downside is you are collecting the money, right? Whereas SnapRaise, you're not touching the money, which is nice, you know? So
yeah,
it's a little bit of, you know, pro and con there.
Because I mean, now Amy has a booster organization that can help with some of that. But like when I was doing all the like we use School Cash Online now. So kids pay for a lot of their stuff online. But when you're doing stuff like that, where you're collecting the money, I would spend sometimes my entire planning period writing receipts.
Yeah. Yes.
Which is a headache. Unless you get the kids to turn in all the money in one lump sum, which we don't really recommend.
That's what I always do now. I used to receipt it like every day, and then I told them, it's like, I'm not doing that anymore. We're just, this is the turn-in day. We're going to spend one day. I'm not writing receipts any other time.
Right.
And that's a lot better.
May I say something about that?
Yeah.
I actually would have a secretary in my classroom, and they would start with an empty envelope, and they would write the receipts. It was always an elected person, but it was very closely monitored. There would be directions on how they had to write receipts, and then they had to balance. They had to add the receipts and count the money, and it had to be the same amount. If it wasn't the same amount, it was made very clear to them, there's a problem somewhere and we have to solve this. And that way I was able to continue with rehearsal. I never asked anybody to do permission. I never asked permission to do that. Sometimes it's better to ask forgiveness than permission.
It is.
Yes.
But also,
that can get you in really big trouble too.
Yeah, but listen though, they had to balance it, and then they also had to deposit it. Right. They had to they did not walk it to the office. They were in my office with the money, and they would balance it, and then they would fill out the deposit sheet so that I knew that it was balanced. I knew the deposit was ready. Did I go in and verify? Absolutely. Okay. But that my office was locked. So once they were the last person in the office, it was balanced. They closed the door. It was locked. Nobody went in my office. So the only way money would be missing is if that person, you know,
right.
And it was very rare that there was a mistake. And honestly, if there was a $10 mistake, I would put $10 in it myself. I'm talking that was like 0.5% of the time, so it worked for me for many years.
Yeah.
And I think if you have a booster, like if you're running most of your funds through your booster program, especially, absolutely.
Plus, you don't have to fill out the paperwork.
Correct.
If you run it through. Yeah. Yes.
I think if you're running through your school bookkeeper, you're obviously the rules are a little bit different. And I would just say, make sure you know what your county policies are in terms of money, because like I said, certain places are really, really, really strict about certain things, and you never know until you get your hand slapped or the auditor comes. Like we had an auditor in our school for about 3 months last year, every day. So just make sure you know like what your schools or what your county's policies are, if you're going to use your bookkeeper at your school and not your boosters,
especially about the things that you do all the time. I would like the field trips. I knew the field trip policies better than my administrator when I got to Jack Britt. I knew the field trip policies better than the administrator in charge of field trips knew the policies. I'd ask him questions and he wouldn't know the answer. And I'd say, but it says in the policy. So you can't trust the administrators to know what they're talking about. I hate to say that. You can't. You agree with me, Amy? Yes.
No, I do.
I agree.
I do.
Yeah.
And I say that as somebody who, I won't lie. I texted Lisa Packer earlier. It's like, I'm totally the person that vented about an administrator today. I did. And they make or break your experience. And I'm fortunate enough to work in a school where I actually really, really love my 95% of my administration. It takes that one moment, you know, and today was that one moment. No, I'm really, really fortunate that they, for the most part, leave me alone until
Yeah,
today.
and that's the best. The
Yeah.
best ones are the ones that know you're doing your job and they're just gonna let you do your job. And but there are a lot of things that pave the way for that, like knowing that, you know, Justin was taking over for me. As soon as I found out about Dr. Till coming in, our new principal at Jack Britt High School, during dress rehearsals, we sang the alma mater. I filmed the kids singing the alma mater, and then they said, "Welcome to Jack Britt, Dr. Tillman." And
butter 'em up.
Be a Buccaneer. And, you know, and she just thought that was the best thing ever. And then, you know, there's a lot of paving the way. So before you start asking for stuff or complaining about something, go up to them and tell them about all these great things that are happening.
Yes.
Come to my room and listen to them sing this. I can't believe they sound this good, you know, and a lot of positive. That's what they say about about when you're doing feedback for someone, say 3 positives and then give them a negative.
Yeah.
I'd say give them 10 or 15 really positive things and then say, but now I really could use a new whatever, you know, or could you pay for my substitute because we're taking the kids to all county auditions and it's really for the kids or whatever it is, you know. And again, the best person to talk about is probably Elisa, because she probably knows exactly what administrator to go to and exactly what to say to them to get the thing that you need.
Right.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, actually, because they're all the same. Yeah, I appreciate all of that. Well, actually, funny now that we just got done talking about money, my next question was, if you could do one thing over again in your career, what would it be?
Does it have to be just one thing?
It doesn't have to be one thing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Dozens of things.
You know, I will tell you right now, because I actually posted something about this on Facebook last night. And I might even go
I probably saw it in.
Grab the article. There's a link to an article. So my kids don't believe me when I tell them this, but I am an introverted introvert. Like, it's really bad. And after teaching for, 20 whatever year, I've gotten better, but I'm the person who, like, when I first started out teaching and I would go to conference or I would go to things in my county, that was a little easier. But going to conference, I just sit in my little chair in the back of the honors chorus rehearsal and I watch all these people networking and I'm like, I don't know anybody. And so I'm just going to sit here to myself because I cannot start a conversation. I don't know how to do that, or I'm too, whatever. So I need people to do it for me. I have to attach myself to people like Richard or Luke or whoever, or Chris Hansen, did that for me for years. Because I can't do that. Right. And so, but that's just who I am. And so I think I hung my hat so many years on watching all of the big personalities and thinking, well, that is what success looks like, right, in this field. And so that's what I need to, like, be working for, right? And so I had, like, these preconceived notions of the things I had to do and the boxes that I had to check, and that's what I was working towards. And it stressed me out so bad. And then COVID hit, and, like, my life, totally, like everybody, we had different perspectives after that. And I think whatever happened to shift in my brain when we came back to school, I was just kind of, like, so happy to be back and singing that I think I just said, you know what? I don't care anymore.
Right.
I don't care what anybody thinks about my program. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. I mean, I do, but I don't, like, I'm just going to do the music that I think my kids want to do, that I think they need to do, the music I like, I'm going to give them the experiences that I think they need. And I'm just not worrying about checking the boxes anymore.
Correct.
I just don't care, and I did, I try to put myself out there and try to just be more active in the organizations instead of saying I have to start conversations and I have to make a million friends. I was like, no, I'm just going to go work in the organization and do that, because I can do that stuff. I can't start conversations and I suck at calling people on the phone and all of those things, but I can do the other stuff, So I would say don't don't look at anybody's program. And I know when you follow, a career teacher like an Elisa Baker, it's hard not to look at that and go, I have to do this because that's the expectation, right? And I know it's hard, but you have to, like, I say, let that go, really, and just know that, like, whoever you are, be it extrovert, introvert, whatever, that's what you need to be, right? In your classroom, outside your classroom, that's enough. And just do like what you're good at, and therefore that's what your kids need from you, and not anything else. Don't be anybody else, just be yourself.
Absolutely.
I would have to agree with that because my first year teaching, I was like, all eyes are on me. The program was great. It was like after COVID. And so now I'm in this like rebuilding phase of everything and, trying to do all the things. And, I ran myself sick.
Yep.
So the following year, when I went to a different school, a different high school, Hickory Ridge, I was just like, I can't do all the things. I'm going to do some of the things. I'm going to pick and choose your battles, because education is a long war and we want to make sure you're here till the very end.
Yes.
So you got to pick and choose what you're going to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would piggyback a little bit on what Amy says about not listening to all the noise around you. Like I came from the elementary level, taught that for 16 years. And then when I went to high school, it was literally like starting like a first year teacher again, because there is so many things coming at you fast and furious. And I didn't do honors chorus that first year because I was like, I just had to get my head on. I did my county thing. I think it was all state at the time. Because by the spring, I was a little bit more acclimated to stuff. And then certainly when you go to conference and then you see all these like names or then these groups that are performing and you're like, well, I should be doing that too and everything. So I totally like what Amy is saying, like, you're the only one 5 days a week that is going to know the students in your classroom, and they are going to be way more successful at the material that you are choosing for them because you're getting to know them and their capability. And that's it. It doesn't matter. It could be a level 2. It could be a level 3. It really doesn't matter. But the success matters. Like you can hear, like my thing always was, I would love to have done some of these like larger pieces, but I just didn't have those numbers to do that. And it would have been silly for me to choose that for my kids because it just didn't make sense. And so with where we were successful. And I too was not really one of those people that was out. Of course, once you meet Luke Hancock, like then, there's, I mean,
Yeah.
once you meet Luke, I mean, it's like
they do that work for you. You just tag along, and that's what I did.
You just
years.
go, okay, Luke, let's, yes, actually,
And
Luke,
he knows everybody.
Yes,
it's
like, do you know some obscure choir director that's way on the
he does
edge of Tennessee somewhere?
He does.
Yeah, we would did blood. I'm like, how do you know?
Yeah, like he just knows everybody. So he is your definite extrovert, and he is dynamic. Well, the funny thing with Luke and I, we had met through Sarah. Those of you that know Sarah Fawn McLam. And Luke and I were both coming into high school at the same time. And I don't know how Sarah and Luke knew each other, but Luke and I were the two that, like, Amy, like we just hit it off. And that's when I got to know like the different groups, but it was that same type of thing. It's like, you can't get caught up in, some of these programs that just obviously they either have the finances or whatever it is, and they're traveling all over and they're doing this and they're doing that and all of that. That does not equal success. I promise you it does not. Success is people coming to your programs, kids being happy on a daily basis, and they can't wait to come back to your class, and you hear from their families that this is the reason they are in school. They are in school because of your program, and that's your success. And because you are giving them something that validates them and they're feeling validated, because singing is very vulnerable. And somewhere in your teaching, you have provided them that relaxed time to sing and have cracked voices. Like my voice cracks at 7:15 in the morning. Whose doesn't? Like, you know, and get comfortable with those things. And that's where the success, these kids, high school kids have a hard time trusting, but once they trust you, they will do anything for you.
Yes,
right?
they will.
Yeah.
And so much time. I spend as much time talking about mindset and healthy ways of thinking about things and healthy ways of thinking about an audition and healthy way. And I'm constantly screwing up and I'm constantly pointing it out to them. Look, oh, what an idiot. I should have done better. And I just, well, I guess I'll do better next time. And I just model that constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better at modeling that than I am good singing, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I narrowed it down to 3 things that I would change.
Oh, wow.
After 3, there's a long list, but here's 3. I think when I first started teaching, I would have been less of a stickler about the music. I was very much one of those ones that if it was on the score, we had to do it exactly that way. Even if it was a popular arrangement and it made it sound stilted and unnatural, we were going to do it the way it was on the page, and it sucked. And I would just be, no, I'm not like that at all now. I'm going to change it. I don't care if it's
He does. He'll rewrite whatever.
I'll just cut that part out. That's stupid. We don't need to sing that.
Yes.
Just harmony for the sake of harmony so they can get a paycheck for writing this arrangement. We change things constantly, cut things constantly. I would have been a lot more, I still could say this about myself even now, I'd have been a lot more courageous. I think that my unwillingness and trepidation about willing to put myself out there in terms of going to MPA and doing all of these things where you're in front of people being judged by your peers. I had a lot of trepidation about that for years. And I played it really, really safe with repertoire and stuff to the point of not like Anne's saying, where it's like stuff that is appropriate for your kids and just enough challenge. I was all about that performance. For years, I don't know, my kids learned a whole lot, but we could do a great performance, but I don't know that they knew a whole lot when it was over. I would be more courageous about putting myself out there, because I think I really limited my kids in a lot of ways, honestly, because I was scared to do it. Therefore, we didn't do it. And the other thing that has changed, and Amy and I have kind of evolved over this with this together, is my center is totally different. It always used to be about the performance, but now I put the people first. The kids are first. You got to remember they're people. They have all the same problems you do, and sometimes more, that they're people. And then the process is second. And really the concert's just kind of because I tell the kids every year, I did the math one time. And like for every minute we're on stage for a concert, we probably spend 45 minutes to an hour in rehearsal. We live in rehearsal. So the process has got to be good. And if all that is happening, your concert is going to be fine. You don't have to worry about the concert. Well, I do, but you don't have to worry about it because if you're taking care of the kids and, you're taking care of the process, then the product is going to be fine.
Right.
And it's never going to be perfect, and you just let that go. I just let that stuff go. But I had some things also. And the other thing that I would do, if I could change it and go back in time, and if this even existed back then, if you have not been to a Carrol Krieger workshop, you got to go, and you got to go again, and you got to go a third time. Like I've been to it like 7 or 8 different times, and I'm always thinking, oh crap, I used to do that. Now, why did I quit doing that? Or, oh, that's something I totally forgot about. She's mentioned that at every single workshop, and I've yet to do it. Why am I not doing that? And I would have felt like a brand new teacher if I'd walked into a classroom at least knowing how to do solfege and takadimi and teach that in a curriculum-based way that made sense. And it wasn't, because when I went to college, music was just this big mystery. Singing was a big mystery, and you did all these mysterious things, and you didn't really know what was happening, but you didn't know the physiology. They would just make you do all these things until they got the sound you wanted. And and I just getting more curriculum centered by going to those workshops I'm a much better musician just since doing that. And when I learned Talkademia, I'm a much better rhythm reader, and I've been teaching 35 years than I was the first 30 years I taught. I'm just so much better at it because I'm working at it like the kids are. But some things I would keep, and again, Amy and I are bad for this.
Hey,
I'm gonna put you on this same boat.
that's fine. That's fine.
I would still keep it, is that when we see that something is not going well, because we want it to go well for our kids, we usually take charge of it. And then we take it over. I don't recommend doing that because now my plate is full and her plate's even fuller. But contributing where you know you can contribute and make something better.
He's talking about not necessarily in the classroom. He's talking about like, at least I don't think, like maybe if you have an event in your county or something and you're like, oh, we need to do this better. Or if your graduation is like, and you're like, I'll take graduation.
Yeah.
Things like that. You know you can make it better and
Me.
not just for everybody, but I mean, yes, for everybody, but mainly for your kids.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a bad habit.
It's a bad habit, and you end up being very overcommitted. And but I wouldn't change that because I feel like we've made a lot of things better than they were over the years by doing these little pieces, and then hopefully training somebody else up to do it so you can hand it off to them. You know, the other thing that I wouldn't change, and I think all of us are good about this, is that I am there are a lot more so band directors.
He's not home. It's okay.
More so band directors, especially about marching band and competitions. But I was never one that was like, oh, I've got these secret ways of doing things so that my choir is going to be great. And I'm not going to share it with you,
right.
because then your choir might be as good as mine.
Right.
And that's not a good thing. If I do something and I put a lot of hard work into something that's a great resource and I love it, I don't know if everybody else is going to love it or not, but I always share it with everybody.
Sure. Yes.
And I try to be super generous with that kind of stuff because somebody might be able to use that. You know, if I make a rehearsal thing for all county chorus, I share it with all the teachers and they can use it or not, but I'm going to share it with them.
And I would say to kind of piggyback on that, when I first started out, I kind of saw all these experienced teachers and all these people who are running events as like, I put them up on these pedestals and they didn't feel like real people. And I was like, I can't reach out to them. You know, they're doing their thing and they're important. And so I'm like scared they are just doing the same thing you are. And it took me way too long to realize that, and that they don't mind if you reach out to them. And they're just like, we're all in the same thing. Yes. And so don't be afraid to send the email when you see this person is in charge of this event and you have a question, or if you see that this person is really good at something and you want to know why or how, just send the email or pick up the phone, because we're all like the same. We really are.
We are.
I've discovered that more and more. It's like, you know, even when you meet a celebrity and you realize, oh, wow, they're just regular people. You know, they're really good at something, but they're just regular people. And, you know, and you're going to run into a handful that are those, you know, prima donna types. There are a few of them out there, but not that many. Honestly, I can't think of too many.
No.
At least in this current generation of choir. Now, maybe in years past, I still remember the first time, and one of the few times I ever judged MPA, where I was a middle school MPA, and I was sitting here not just like, oh God, I'm scared to death, because the two people next to me were legends in North Carolina, and they were talking about their tour to Russia this summer and their tour. I'm like, oh my God, I can't even speak to these people. Because I just, I'm happy to go to Carrol wins, you know, and they're like in London and New York and everything, you know. So, but now I just ask. I'll just ask, and if they don't want to answer me, that's fine. I'll go find somebody else that has the answer. But you know, I'm going to ask. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, all of y'all, for that.
They're probably like bombarding you. It's like
no,
it's fine. I love it. Yeah, and I love that it's.
We're all going down memory lane. And like all of a sudden, it's like, oh, then
It's kind of like a guest minister at a church. They feel like they've only got that congregation for one Sunday, so they have to preach the whole Bible in one sermon. You know, So that's where we are right now. We're trying to tell you everything, which is probably too much.
No, I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, and the Carol Krieger act did definitely stand out to me. I was really happy that I was able to see her in Phoenix, not this past year, but last year. I was able to go this year, and Miss Baker actually left me 2 editions of her big book, and I'm like, yes, thank you.
I did the same thing in high school. I just left the whole book there of all those that one of her grad assistants put together.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I texted. I said, "Thanks for the Bible."
Nice.
Oh gosh, I don't even. Let me see. Sorry, I should have prepared better, but I also didn't know that I was going to be the only one.
You're totally fine.
You're really on the hot seat.
And if honestly, if you feel overloaded, it's okay to stop. Like, don't feel like you have to.
Yeah, we can
try to come up with something right now.
Yeah,
you probably have a lot.
Well, I was gonna say, I guess this would probably be my last question because we are, I guess, kind of. Well, I guess we got some time. Is what ways? Right, we have all the time, and I have your emails now, or I can look them up. What are some ways that not only you communicate with parents, but you involve them or find ways to involve them in anything?
Chaperones, biggie. And most counties, I mean, I know Cumberland County does. I think most counties do now, is that they have to register as a volunteer and do a background check. And every school system has a slightly different way of doing that. Ours is they fill out the form and it's done and they're approved or they're not. Johnston County, I had to get approved to go see Logan. I wanted to be a registered volunteer at Clayton, and Logan is taking over for Ann. And theirs is like a multi-step process to do.
There's 3 levels.
Yeah, there are 3 levels. Ours is just 1, but we do have to tell them specifically which schools we're going to, and other schools do it differently. So, but I put that out immediately. Register as a volunteer.
Yes.
We need volunteer. We need chaperones. We don't need anything else. You're going to need chaperones. It's like 1. Our county is 1 for every 10. Is that right, Amy?
Yeah.
Yes. I think most counties are like that, 1 to 10.
And and Amy does a musical. We haven't done any musical theater at Jack Britt in a while, so she has a lot of ways her parents are involved. But I'd have parents, like, if we're doing a concert and I have this prop that I really want built, but I don't have time to build it. I had one thing we had to make a prop like the outline of a grand piano with the keyboard on it and everything. And I had a parent that I knew was good at woodworking. I asked him if he could make the board. And I had another parent that was really into crafting. I mean, she's always doing stuff like that. I said, could you now take this board and turn it into a piano? And they did it, and we're excited to do it, and then you make sure you put a thank you for all your chaperones and all the people that did any little thing in your program.
For sure.
Thank you, this, that, and the other. I've even thanked people for props I used like 3 years ago. And I'm like, and then I used it again this year. And I'm like, and thank you again, Miss So-and-so, for making this prop. We've kept it and we've used it multiple times,
I'm going to jump in because I just realized that my husband's at marching band practice and I have his car. So I'm going to go pick him up. But sorry.
He lives within walking distance of your house.
I know, but it's dark. We live across the street.
He's a great big guy. He's
got a flashlight on his phone.
We have to walk around the neighborhood with a baseball bat because they're dogs. No, really, yeah, for real. No, but so I recommend like using a Remind or some kind of app, to communicate. I use the band app. We're not supposed to, but I do it anyway. But use Remind or whatever your county approves. But like Richard said, I have a musical. We do a medieval feast too. So any way that I can get parents to sign up to volunteer to do something, usher a concert, pass out programs, help me set up something before or clean up after. If it's medieval feast, help either sign up for the decorating committee or sign up for the set build or the set breakdown or serve in the kitchen, whatever. Or if they can't give you time, can you donate napkins? Can you whatever, because and a lot of times, like, I get it. I can't I can't volunteer at my kids' school. I get that. So I try to send stuff to them, you know. So they're all, you know, we have a lot of parents that work like third shift, or our school is like 40% military. So a lot of times the parents deployed. So mom or dad is a single parent at home. And so they can't always come, but sometimes they can send something or whatnot. So giving them options about how they can volunteer or how they can participate can be helpful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what that looks like.
I'm
sure.
so sorry that I'm going to run out, but Joshua, I do want you to know, please, I'm going to put my email in the chat, even though you can probably get it elsewhere. I am in charge of NPA also. So if you have any, you know, anything about NPA specific stuff, please feel free to reach out to me, but anytime, really.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
absolutely. Anytime. I'm happy to do it. It's really nice to meet you.
Yes, it's really nice to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. All right. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, Amy.
Bye. Bye. Nice to meet you, Jordan. I don't know you.
So what she said about band and remind, like, see, I want there to be no plausible way that they could, no plausible deniability about knowing about things. So one of the things I do is at the start of the year, I go ahead and make a distribution list we use Google in Cumberland County. I make an email distribution list for first period, second period, third period, the kids in the class, their school email. And then I do this when I get all the parent email addresses, I do one for first period, second period, third period that are just the parents. So I send out an email for whatever we're doing. I put it on Remind because we are allowed to use Remind. You just can't have the two-way communication. And you can turn that off. It's just to send information out. And then I use Band like Amy does, even though technically Cumberland County is not supposed to use Band, but I use it too. And so I'm putting it everywhere now. Johnston County and Logan just told me that they can't use Remind.
No, they did away with Remind a couple years ago, which was really a bummer. They went with this I don't know, like nobody used it. I mean, it was the worst like format ever. Nobody could figure it out. Remind is fantastic if that's what you have. They'll be using Band. Logan has set Band up. Band works out fine. You can also shut down that two-way communication in there too in Band, because sometimes everybody starts piggybacking on stuff and you're like, Geo, this is, you know.
You can shut down the chat feature.
Yes.
Because sometimes that's one thing you probably, now I've had better luck with it lately, because like my audition group, which is a show choir, but also our concert choir, so they do a lot of both. They create their own group chats, and my kids have been really I've worked hard. Part of our audition, I mean, it's the biggest, I tell the kids when we're auditioning, the biggest part of the audition are these people with absolutely zero drama. If they come with drama, we don't want them, you know? So we've really worked hard to get kids that get along with each other. And even if they don't get along, they can still respect each other and be mutually supportive.
Yes.
But I've had group chats where the kids just get on there and they get nasty about something to an online argument. And finally have to tell me, you just need to you just shut the group chat down. But sometimes that works. It's been working for me, but I don't have anything to do with it. And the kids are good enough that they'll tell me, listen, so-and-so is on the group chat and they're constantly doing this, which is technically against the rules because that's like online bullying or whatever, you know? So, but I'm famous for my emails because they're so detailed, they're so numerous. I've gotten to where I have several friends that are music teachers that are also parents of kids I've taught, and they're like, so what are you going to do when you can't send that Sunday email out that says this week at Jack Britt High School, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the details, you know? But I just try to make sure they know everything that they can possibly know, to more than they want to know about what we're going to do, you know?
Right.
So.
Yep.
Well, I think I might be questioned out, but I really do appreciate. I'll respond to both. Yeah, but I do really appreciate all of y'all's time and, you know, just sharing all of that with me. And
Sure.
I have your emails now, so I'm sure I will think of a bajillion things afterwards. But
sure,
yeah, I'm excited. Thank you all so much.
One other thing, and you can find it on the high school choral section page. Have you been there yet?
Of the NCMEA.
Not well. When you go to the NCMEA.net, when you go to that page, you'll go to sections and you go to high school choral. But all that's really there is a link that will take you to our Google site. So, and on that Google site, there is a new teacher page. I'm going to pull it up and put the link in there for you so you can.
Okay, thank you.
So let me, there's a resource I want to point you to. Well, let me see if it'll pull up high school choral. Nope, I'm going to have to go to NCMEA.
Well, while you're looking for that, I was going to say, is my mic on now?
It is now.
Okay.
I think it wasn't
I think
on
I was
earlier,
talking
Jordan.
and it was,
Yeah. I saw your mouth moving. Yeah.
So I was going to say, during our open night, how I get my parents involved, I always tell them to be prepared to get an email. I do social media, Instagram, Facebook, of course, with my course page. And then I always tell the parents, you should get ready to sing, because especially for my seniors, my seniors mostly, I have the parents of the seniors come on stage and they sing with their kids.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
that is a great way to get the parents involved, because now they need to also practice the song. And I do not teach the parents. I just send like a recording. I put it on Canvas. Hopefully the parents sign up for the observation portion of the parents so they can see everything on Canvas, and they practice the songs. And I haven't had any bad parents come on stage and sing. So
yeah,
it's been working.
I love that. My dad would have pulled me from choir if that happened, but I love that. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Awesome. And yes, I am on that site now. Yeah.
You find the site?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
You go to that link. So if you'll go to like up to the top where it says resources, do you see that on the bar at the top?
Yes, sir.
Click on resources and then go to new teacher.
Teachers.
You see that?
Right. Yes.
Now, when you get there, there is a Google Slides presentation, and that is my Google Slides presentation that I use at NCMEA for the new teacher information session for high school choral. And it has like a couple of slides on MPA, a couple of slides on honors chorus auditions and honors chorus and East Regional. All the events, all the student events are there, and some other things too. And that is kind of like, and when we have our summer meeting, I have all of the people in charge of those edit those slides and make sure everything's accurate. And all the links in the slides work. So that's a great way to just go to get the down and dirty, here's how I do this, and then go back and read in more detail later, and then below that, it's called a new teacher planning calendar. Do you see that further down on the page?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm not sure if these are updated yet, so I'm gonna check with AJ Calpo, who's our tech chair, because when I was looking at them, they were still last year's, but I've updated them. I'm not sure why they're updating on the website. But that is like a planning calendar. It's a hypothetical planning calendar that goes from August all the way through the year, and it's like, here's some things it's August. Here are the things you probably need to be thinking about. And all the links are, once I get the updated one up there, all the links should be live. All the deadlines should be the deadlines for this year. And it goes month by month. And it also addresses things that are not necessarily musical. Like, you have a homeroom. How are you going to deal with the homeroom? Here's some helpful hints. And it's the end of the semester. It's exam week. You're going to be proctoring exams. So you're not going to have a planning period. How do you deal with that? The concert's over. It's the day after the concert. What are you going to do? Duties. Because I've got to be assigned a duty. So they need somebody to monitor the auditorium in the morning, because that's a whole thing for kids. and that's my space. So I'm going to monitor my space because I have a vested interest in it.
Sure.
Or athletic duties. One thing that I do is I worked with my athletic director, and my athletic duty is to present national anthems at athletic events. So I don't sell tickets. I don't collect tickets. I don't wand people to see make sure they don't have a weapon. My kids show up, but it's a lot, but that's what we do. So I love it. We try to do one of every single athletic event that happens on that campus. We sing at tennis matches. We sing at JV football games. We sing at sometimes we'll show up for a tennis match. There'll be 50 or 60 of us and there'll only be 14 tennis players and no fans. So we outnumber them like 5-1 and we sing the national anthem for them. And great way to get visibility on the campus, because everybody knows you're going to sing the national anthem at something,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of helpful stuff in there that is just things to think about. Use what you want, ignore the rest, but it's also a great way to look at what's the deadline for honors chorus auditions. I can't remember. Let me look at that spreadsheet or what the document, and it'll be there. So I just wanted you to know they were there. So
yes, I really appreciate that. Yes, I love this.
So anybody have anything else? Because I think we may be the last.
I think we are
hopping through. I'm thinking, oh, they're coming here so they can leave. So I think we may be the last group open.
You're not. I think that the elementary room is still open.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, yeah.
You're okay.
There were a lot of them. There were a bunch of elementary ones. So do you have anything else, Josh? Or
I believe that might be all I have right now. But like I said, I really appreciate your time and just everything. Yes,
so,
and I hope I can meet some of y'all in November.
Yes.
Well, we'll definitely be there.
Be there.
Even if you have kids, you probably will have kids that make honors chorus, but just make sure you will be there. It's helping out with the screening, and I'll be at all the mentoring sessions and the new teacher sessions and the collegiate sessions and just all the sessions. So we'll definitely see you around, and feel free to tag along. If you don't feel like you know anybody, we'll introduce you around. You'll get to meet everybody.
I'll be shadowing. I appreciate it.
And then they'll give you a job.
Yes.
Oh, well, maybe I'll hide in a corner. No, that's fine. So. Actually, I did. Oh gosh, I can't remember who the chair was at the time. It was Fall of 21. But I did talk to him, and then I ended up getting thrown into that choir, the all teachers choir. So maybe I won't talk to anybody.
Composition, you were in that one.
It was like the sight reading, and then we performed it with the military band. It was or maybe it was before or after that.
I do remember it, but I don't think I actually did that one.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. But yes, thank you all so much.
And we will see you in November.
Yes, I'll see you in November.
Email if you need it.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Hope you'll have a good one.
All right, thanks.
you. You too.
Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate it. You did a wonderful job.
Sure. Thank you.
Have a great retirement, Anne and Richard, and have a great school year, guys.
Thank you.
And Jordan, it was nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you too, Richard.
Yeah, it was good meeting you, Jordan.
Matt, did you have anyone in your room?
There we go. We had one person, and unfortunately, he was in North Carolina and he just moved to New Hampshire to take a job up there. So it was great that he visited with us, but he's, I guess, one of our former people, but not a current person.
Okay.
So,
well, that's okay. That's all right.
That's all right.
You guys probably discussed some really important things though in your room, right?
Yeah, actually, it was really great. He did have a couple of questions, and James had some great information to share. And actually, James and Cindy and I had a fantastic conversation just now. So, awesome. They shared some ideas and sparked some thoughts that maybe we could use down the road. So they're great people.
Good. I'm gonna join the elementary room in a minute. They're still talking.
Okay, Carol, and hey, real quick, just so that you know, the recording worked earlier when we tried it out, and when I went back in that room and tried to record, it did not work. It said I needed to get your permission. Since there was just the one man there, Joshua, I was like, well, it's not ideal, but so at any rate, just wanted to give you a heads up before I left for the night that unfortunately we didn't get that, but due to the circumstances, it's probably okay.
Yeah, well, you only had this one person, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. Thank you so much. I really
Cool.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much. Good to see all of you. Thanks so much for coming tonight.
You too. Thanks. I guess I'll hang out here until the elementary get done.
And I was going to tell you, I did get up to Clayton High School last week.
Yeah, Logan told me. I saw Logan today. He asked me if I could come in today. He said, because he had the county thing yesterday, and so, and then he's got open house tomorrow night. So I went to go see him, and
we're talking about workflow and what's the best way to,
yes,
and things that he's like, I'm never going to, use this. I'm like, well, then find somebody who can, or get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I told him, I said, I just left him a whole bunch of stuff. I said, if you don't need it, just let me know. I'll come and get it out of your way or whatever, or I'll just be like, bye,
find somebody else who can use it.
That could use it for sure. But I wanted to obviously leave him, what I didn't need anymore, because, I brought enough home as it was. So still going through those boxes.
I was pretty proud of myself. I thought, oh my God, I'm going to bring so much crap home with me. And I thought, my wife brought a lot more home than I did. So I felt pretty good about myself. But
that's good.
A lot of stuff.
Sure.
But it was
I threw away a lot for sure. Those big the rolling trash cans that they have in the schools. I probably filled up almost 4 of them. So
imagine, because you have all of that music from all of those reading sessions, and I was just going like, I know when I got this music in my hands, I knew I was never going to do it.
Yeah. So why do I still have it?
Why have I held on to it for 25 years?
Sure, exactly.
I was just throwing so much crap away,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or you try, and then toward the end, I was running out of time, and I thought, oh crap, I'm putting things away like I'm going to be back because I know where everything is.
Oh, right. Yeah. Haphazardly. Right. Yeah.
I was going to type up nice little list and tape them to the shelf. By the end, it was just scribbles. Scribble it on a note, thumbtack it to the wall or whatever. I was just trying to get it. And of course, I'm here, and he's a former student of mine, and he's not thick, and he's taught before. He's like 42, but
nice.
But he's still very apprehensive because he's been out of the high school classroom for a while, and he's also, he's everybody keeps walking up saying, well, you've got really big shoes to fill. And I'm like, please don't say that. Just let him do his stuff. So he's nervous. We're meeting tomorrow and Thursday mornings, multi-hour sessions to do field trip forms and get the subs requested and do all these things that he's trying to figure out how to do because it's different everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah, because I told him, I said, let's look at the honors course piece next week. We don't need to worry about that yet. Let's just make sure those kids that took music from me from the beginning of the year, that they've been working on it and that they're still set and ready to go. I said, and then we'll sit down and we'll take care of registration. Don't worry about it yet.
You know what I need to share with him and Jared both. We've got we have started doing, once we figured out how to do it, doing our rehearsal tracks in Google Slides. We'll download them in Google Slides, and then once you embed that into Google Slides, if you go to the icon, you can click on the 3 dots, and it'll allow you to slow the speed down.
Oh, sweet!
So the kids can learn it at a slower speed and then practice tempo. And I asked one of our high school teachers in Cumberland County if she would please continue doing that. And then she shared it with me so I could share it with my kids and everything. So there's a lot of stuff, a lot of resources like that. I probably should just send to Jared and to Logan both. Jared Miller's another one that I'm mentoring.
Okay. And where is he?
He is at Terry Sanford High School in Fayetteville.
Okay.
Our full-time teacher there is now going to full-time ministry. And
Gotcha.
Jared's moving from elementary to high school.
I've been there.
He has a lot of choral experience, but he's
Mhm.
not been at the high school before, you know. So
Correct.
I was in his room for about 2 hours today, helping him. The same thing with Logan. Just no, you don't want the clear touch over there. You want the piano, and you want to be able to just go right to the clear touch, right to the everything right here,
Right there. Yes.
The only time you're moving is to get to the kids, you know.
Right.
And
Yeah.
you don't have to run all over the room to do everything.
Right.
So there was a lot of just helping him with that, and same with Logan.
Mm-hmm.
His was more, we were just kind of tweaking where the furniture needed to go. And,
well, sure, because it's a smallish space, right? And so I told him, like, so for the phone, there's an app that he needs to get for the phone, so he can just have a cell phone on the keyboard and he can just answer the incoming calls on the app. So I told him who he should email. I said, check your emails really quickly and see if you have it. I said that'll save you for that. You'll hear the phone ring. You don't need to have your phone on. You'll hear it ring because you're in the classroom. So, but you'll just answer it on your cell phone. And so,
what I told him to do is
he said get a new long cord or something, right?
That's what I did at my phone is like 50 or 60 feet away from my piano. So I went to, and ours is an internet-based phone system.
Yes, same thing.
Mm-hmm. I went to Walmart and I bought like a 50-foot Ethernet cord. I just plugged it in and ran it along the wall, got a few trip guards, and just put it right there because we don't have. I don't think we have what you're talking about.
Yes,
but I was like, you just don't want to have to walk over there every time the phone rings.
No,
just whatever you can do to get it right there. I have it right on the piano.
Yeah.
And we rearranged the furniture so the clear touch was right there where he could put his laptop and plug it in.
Correct.
And right there.
Yes.
I said the less you have to move, the better.
Yeah.
And the only other thing that I actually found one here at the house. I told him if he takes that dehumidifier you have in your room, and if he'll put it on the countertop,
a hose,
you can put a hose in there and it just drains
with a hose. Yeah.
And you never have to deal with that ever again.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
I actually found one at the house.
Nice. Sweet.
It was one of those connectors that goes into the crank where you would wind up.
Oh, yes. Yes. Right.
I'm not using that anymore. So I just cut the end off of it. And I'm like, I'm going to bring it to him in 2 weeks whenever I'm up. He wants me to come and observe like the second week or third week.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's I feel like he's got like so much that's like sort of going on in here. It was because I shared my list with him of all the music that's in the file cabinets, and he's like, there's a bunch of music I couldn't find for Christmas. And I said, what he didn't realize is the first majority of the drawers was all his regular lit, and then the last drawers were all the Christmas lit. They weren't integrated all together. It was just I put the seasonal stuff. So he was like, oh, and so he started today. He's like, oh, I want to, and so he was pulling rep out. Yeah.
Because I was like, I know what drawer to go to, but none of this is labeled. So I was
of course, it wasn't.
And I did and I put the little things in, and because I was like, he'll never be able to find anything because I'm not going to be here to tell him where it is.
Well, I told him just have a kid do that for him. I said, you'll probably have a kid that maybe your TA or something, and just have them do that and label your drawers for you, because it's, as you add more music to it, you're constantly shifting your music, and you're always shifting. And so those labels all have gotten pulled out, and
they change them every year. And
too much.
It's another, because I was in the same boat. I had so many file cabinets full of my crap. Well, once I emptied that, I could spread all the music out. So there was this much room at the back of every drawer. So hopefully that'll delay it.
Yeah, a little bit. Sure. Yeah. So no, I think it'll be okay. There's others in the county that are new, Richard. I'm trying to get them signed up with NCMEA, so we can you know, whether I'm the mentor for them or whatever, I'm fine, you know, happy to do that. Obviously being right here. I know there's a gal at West Johnston. I think it's year 2 for her.
She can still do it. And like Carrol, we've been changing those rules a little bit. They don't even really have to be we're offering mentoring even if they're not a member technically.
Okay. Carol's like, mm-hmm.
And
we want them to be successful, right? That's the bottom line.
And even the ones that transfer in to North Carolina and they're new in North Carolina, or they're going from elementary to high school or whatever.
Sure. Yes.
We're mentoring everybody that needs any help. So
yeah.
But yeah, if you tell me, if you get them to do it and then to register and then shoot me an email and tell me, because I'm the one who assigns high school choral, and I'll make sure that they're with you.
Yeah, I sent you that one girl, except I'm not sure if she, Logan told me about her. I think she's at the elementary level, but I can certainly do that as well, having also taught that. I'll have to look up her name again, but she was like all gung-ho, but I'm not sure if she signed up. And I can also just re-email it to you.
Please.
I think that the gal that came, I'm trying to get some information about her. I think she could use a little bit of guidance, just moving into that position. So I think that will just be a new thing all the way across the board. So
you guys are going to find this hilarious. Really? I must be always worried that I'm going to run out of reading glasses or that I won't have them when I need them. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Her change of costume. Carol's got like a change of costume going on. It's like
wherever your hand, you have them in your hand, and wherever your hand lands, that's where those glasses belong, right? At that.
I've been in this office all day, and Richard, do you know what I did not get done?
What?
What did I tell you I had to do today?
Oh, I don't. Oh, you had to pick your music for the heart of the triad.
Didn't happen.
She hasn't picked her, and she hasn't picked her Christmas music yet. I would be like, I would be freaking out at this point.
Well, I'm okay. I told him it was all going to be in English.
It'll be fine.
The theme is merry and bright. I mean,
oh my gosh,
it'll be fine.
That's the best theme ever because it's
so broad. It's beautiful.
Right?
Well, we did such difficult music last year that I'm just like, okay. And we're doing the Requiem for the Living in the spring, and then doing that at Carnegie Hall.
Oh, nice.
You know, so yeah, but I haven't done that.
Oh my goodness.
So, but I'm just sitting here looking at my desk, and I'm like, I mean, they weren't even folded neatly. They're just like laying willy-nilly everywhere. And I'm like,
well, you know, when we discovered that, like when my mother-in-law loved to sew, and we discovered that after she passed away, and we were going through the house and cleaning up her sewing room, we must have found like a dozen pairs of really good sewing scissors, because she would set them down somewhere and forget where they were, and then she'd just go out and buy a new pair of scissors. So she had like it wasn't a dozen, it was like maybe half a dozen, but it still was a lot of scissors for one sewing room. I was like, but you know.
Well, I did get my classes planned for tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So
tomorrow is taken care of at least.
Tomorrow is taken care of. But
worry about Thursday tomorrow, right?
Well, I still have to do some work for chapel choir. Oh my God. We're always all behind, aren't we? You know?
Yeah.
Where you feel like it. You're probably way ahead.
What are you doing now that you're retired?
I'm gonna be actually teaching piano some. I'm teaching a musical theater class with Clayton Theatricals. So somebody said that I should consider doing kinder music, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go like all the way back there again, you know. Right. I think that the private piano thing will come into play like a lot. I think I'm going to be accompanying a lot. Like, for example, Logan's piano skills he said are sort of limited. And so I'll be helping a little bit there. And then there's a few other people in the county, same thing. Like, now that I'm retired, they're like, great, now you can come and accompany. So I think that will be a big piece for me. It's a little weird right now because nobody needs me to accompany yet. So I'm just like, and I'm also doing the treble choir. I'm the accompanist for that for All Eastern this year. So, but those are things like down the road. Like I'm a little bit like, what else does somebody need right now? Because, so I'm trying to, like you say, like you're trying to, all of a sudden everything will come. So I'm just trying to get some stuff like set and.
Yeah, but look at all the books and CDs on your shelf.
I am so read all over them. There's so much. You don't see what's like in front of me. In front of me is like all this stuff that I brought home that I really.
Well, you see.
Oh yeah.
There's one bookshelf, and then there's the other bookshelf. Bethany Jennings was at my house, and she walked in and she goes, "Oh no, I got a third bookshelf too over here."
Okay.
Just like, not to be offensive or anything, but like when you pass away, what are you going to do with all your books? And I'm like, Bethany, I have a daughter that's a chorus teacher.
Oh my God.
Maybe she'll want them. I'll leave you a few.
Maybe. If you're nice, I'll leave you a few. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
anyway.
that was my thing, like going through, like pulling everything out of the drawers, like at the end of the school year. I mean, thankfully I had some people that were great. All I asked them to do was pull it